Hello and welcome to Can You Learn Japanese with クレヨンしんちゃんオラと博士の夏休み終わらない7日間の旅 which I will hereby refer to as Shinchan's Summer Vacation since the Japanese title is way too long. This game came out in 2021 in the summer, funnily enough, and it is a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It still sells for a near release price of over $50, and as of now, it still hasn't been localized nor released worldwide, meaning you'll have to buy it from the Japanese Switch eShop using a prepaid card in Japanese yen, making the accessibility and price very unappealing, which is a shame as the game itself looks great visually and it provides a truly unique Japanese experience. Based on the Crayon Shinchan manga, and subsequently anime and movies, we play as Shinnosuke, a 5-year-old boy from Saitama, Japan, who goes on holiday with his family to the Japanese countryside. The basic gameplay is somewhat similar to Animal Crossing in that you can explore the town, catch insects and fish, talk to the townsfolk, and complete objectives. However, the game follows a set story with pretty linear progression. The Japanese level in Shinchan's Summer Vacation is difficult to explain. It uses pretty approachable words since the game is primarily aimed at children, and thus it also has furigana on all kanji. In addition to voice acting for a large amount of dialogue and narration, but sadly not all, when the narrator does speak, she generally speaks slowly and clearly, which is fantastic for learning. The difficulty mostly comes from Shinchan himself, who speaks with strange mannerisms, sometimes complete nonsense, and often intentionally making mistakes with words to create sort of wordplay type jokes, which are funny sometimes if you understand them, and other times not particularly funny, even if you do understand it. It can be a little annoying. A lot of the characters will say the same things every in-game day, so you definitely get used to many phrases through repetition. Generally, the whole game needs you to press A to advance the text, so you can really take your time to read, research, and understand what people are saying. You also have a log of fish and insects with information about all of them, and at the end of each day, you can recap what you achieved that day, furthering the repetition. The story progression is pretty much tied to the in-game days. There are people you need to speak to trigger events, but in general, these are pretty obvious, and you will be led to certain places by NPCs. Sometimes it isn't specifically clear what you need to do, but since the town is pretty small, just go and speak to everyone. After each of these story triggers are activated, you can pretty much spend the rest of the day exploring, catching things, and trying to make progress on any of the other objectives, which can make for a nice balance. My biggest issue was some days there wasn't a whole lot of story progression early on, and the initial explorable area was quite small, so I started to get a bit bored. But as the story progresses and more areas open up with more to do, this becomes less of a problem. But the game never gets too big, to be honest, so be prepared to get very familiar with this small town. Towards the start of the game, I found the story progression each day to be really slow. Some days it's just speaking to someone for a couple of minutes, and then it's free time for the rest of the day. I got a bit bored with this, but I found out after that you can change the speed of passing time in the menu under settings, and it's 時間の進む速さ, which means literally the speed of time progression, which will let you select slow, standard, or fast. Setting this to fast can help you unlock a bit more of the town a bit quicker. I would argue that Shinchan's Summer Vacation has a pretty balanced gaming to learning ratio. You need to read or listen to what people are saying to follow the story and know what to do, but you have the free time each day just to take it easy, do some exploring, and enjoy the sights and sounds of Japanese summer. As mentioned before, there is a lot of repetition, which can be good for reinforcement of language, but it can also get too boring, and with no easy way to skip some sequences, it can waste a lot of time that could be spent on something new. But overall, I like the balance, and I think it's a good mix of reading, listening, and gameplay. Is this a fun game or not? This has been the hardest section for me to analyze. When I first started the game, I absolutely loved it. I loved speaking to everyone, taking in the beautiful artwork. I loved that each day was just long enough to speak to the characters and plant some crops on the farm before something new the next day. But after a few days, I got tired of catching the same bugs and fish. I got tired of hearing the same dialogue again and again. I got tired of seeing the same 12 screens. so I took a break. When I went back to the game a couple of months later, I could enjoy it again. So I think if I had found the menu setting to make time go faster earlier, I might have stuck with the game from start to finish and had a more fun time overall. In terms of gameplay, there's not much challenge in standard gameplay. Some of the triggers to advance the story can be light puzzles, such as go to these places in a specific order, or like find this character, but nothing too difficult. There is a game within the game. It's similar to Pokemon in that it's a rock, paper, scissors style battle game with dinosaurs. There might be some strategy to this, and you can collect lots of trading cards for extra bonuses, which is cool. It's a kind of shallow experience, but a good chance to interact with some of the other characters or take a break from chatting with people around town. Okay, so here we are. This is actually day 3 in the game. And I don't know if anything's gonna happen, so we can go talk to our mom real quick. 不思議なのよね。食堂の来るのお客さんで顔に見覚えのある人がいるんだけど一日に何度も来るのよ。Okay, so she's just saying she recognizes people. But she said the same thing yesterday, so I think maybe just even within the same, even on different days, they might say the same thing, which is not great for learning. Let's catch this butterfly real quick. Okay, hacho. So if you play Dobutsu no Mori, Animal Crossing, you might know lots of insects already, so that's cool. Okay, let's see. Voice acting? No. この辺りをぐるぐる走り回ってきたら目が回るしお腹がすくしこれって多分洗濯機とか地球の時点と同じことだよね。It's like spinning around. Okay. そこにララコの偉大さを感じでちょうだい。わけわからないと思うけど。Okay, so she's saying nonsense. Did she say the same thing? 感じない。Okay. No, yeah, she just says the same thing. So she's saying she did some running around. She feels a bit weird. Feels a bit hungry. And do we see how amazing she is, pretty much? Can we like feel her greatness? It's a cafe with nobody there. Yeah, honestly, as much as I think this game is good for learning Japanese as a beginner, there's not much to do. See, I mean, that's got voice acting, but you know, this is just the same thing every day. You can just buy some stuff in the shop. So she just says you're boring if you don't buy anything. And this way we can't go. Not yet, anyway. I mean, you just end up catching the same insects, and catching insects is really damn hard. You can see if the cute girl is still the newspaper office. Oh, here she is. Let's see what she talked to us. 正直に言うと、しんちゃんにこの新聞社を大きくすることなんてできないと思ってたけど、大工さんになればできるかもしれないね。And then Shinchan just says nonsense. Yeah, it's about the old printer. I don't really know how to progress the game, to be honest. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. Okay, so it's about her being dizzy. So you can choose either like a serious answer or a bit of a jokey answer. I usually go with the jokey one, but it doesn't really impact anything as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I'm very aware that this makes the game seem incredibly boring. You know, maybe it is because we're back to the house and no one's done anything. Shinchan, お手伝いの内容は忘れないようにしてね。何を持ってくればよいかはそこにある掲示板を見ればわかるからね。Yeah, so like you can find some stuff for like people. So you hear this woman that we're staying with. So she wants this fish. Yeah, so there's people around town that want stuff and they give you some pocket money. You know, I could buy some stuff in the shop if I want, but there's not much to do. 夜お話を聞いてくれてありがとう。しんちゃんはどんなお話が好き？あら、ガンダムロボットかアクション仮面が好きだぞ。Good conversation. What about the kids? Did the kids say anything? No. I mean, you can do some fishing as well, but like that's just not. It's not interesting. Like there's just not enough variety. Not doing it. Not doing it again. Let's go. So the cows are here. You can't get past the cows. 取れません. There's a little bug that I needed to catch though. Like the depth perception, because it's a fixed camera angle, is so confusing. Yeah, ushi. 取れません. Did I get 2 with 1 swipe? Oh, that's cool. It's not learning Japanese, but can I go back to the house and have a little nap? Yep, there we go. Collapsed on the floor. I'm too hungry, can't walk. And then I woke up, she's gonna be like, where were you? I was right there, Mom. どけてたの？心配したわよ。I was on the floor.
夜は外に出ちゃダメよ。出たいときはママも行くから、声をかけてね。声かけたぞ。
Just today it was hot. Evening's cold. Oh, outside at night time? Is that gonna happen?
しかし、この幸せな時間は長くは続きませんでした。
Okay, something's happening.
水曜の夜、夕涼みに出ていたしんのすけたちは、満月の光に照らされた巨大生物を目撃したのです。
So like that, you know. In some games the text just keeps going, it doesn't stop. In this one, voice acting, furigana, and you have to push A to progress. So, you know, for beginners, like that's so useful. All of this is so useful. Like if you don't know any of these words, you can check. Like if you're like, oh, mokugeki te nani? You have to research it. You're like, oh, like witness, to witness something. It's a suru verb, right? What we're witnessing a kyodai seibutsu, right? Like a kyodai, giant, big seibutsu, living thing. You can see this giant living thing right here. We're witnessing it. Like from this context, learning these words makes you remember the meaning of every one of them.
なんだあれは。
大きな影。
大きな足音。
助けて。 アクション仮面。何怪獣？母ちゃんの体重60キロだぞ。そんなにないわよ。体重じゃなくて怪獣。
Does that mean, that's like, I guess, wordplay, right? Like similar sounding words, but it's good to like differentiate them, I guess. Maybe if you don't know the difference, like kaiju as in like monster and taiju as in body weight.
巨大怪獣だ。
その巨大な黒いシルエットを見上げて高笑いしていたのは、駅で謎のカメラをくれたあの怪しい男なのでした。
あのおじさん。我が名は悪の博士。発明家であり、そして史上最強のマッドサイエンティストなのだ。
Oh, mad scientist. I wonder what that could be.
自分で言うことかしら。
自分で言わずに誰が言う。我が輩が連れてきたのは怪獣ではない。白亜紀の恐竜だ。私はついにタイムマシンを発明した。これで世間の連中もこの才能を無視するわけにはいかないだろう。
オラの怪獣、シリマルダシも大きくしてほしいぞ。
怖がれ、恐怖におののけ。巨大な力の前にひれ伏すのだ。
I mean, it doesn't seem that evil, to be honest. Okay, what does that mean? Like, chapter finished? Are we going back to bed? Can I go back to bed? I'm off. Layers. Can I actually go? Alright, let's chat to the professor. What was the big success? Oh, she's scared. Okay, she's scared. Okay. And Dad? Okay. What does the dinosaur say? Nothing. Show my Oshiri. It's kind of weird that you can just walk away, right? Okay. I mean, at least he's using words instead of just screaming. Okay, let's look over today's memories. Anyway, while this is doing its thing, yeah, that's a gameplay example of this Shinchan Vacation game. You know, it's got so much promise with the mostly voice acted, well, half and half voice acted, press to advanced text, furigana. Like you can freely talk to people multiple times. It's pretty slow paced. Like it's got lots going for it. You know, it's got some humor. He's a child, so everybody speaks to him in pretty simple terms. But it's just weird. There's just something like unfinished about it. Like the lack of music, cutscenes just like end for no reason. There's no flow to the game, and that's a damn shame because it could be a very good language learning tool. So, after playing and discussing this game, there's lots of positives and negatives of using it as a language learning tool. But let's answer the question. Can you learn Japanese with クレヨンしんちゃんオラと博士の夏休み終わらない7日間の旅? Yes, you can. And not only is it possible, I think it's actually a pretty good choice. It's a little hard to get hold of due to the price and being a Japanese Nintendo Switch exclusive. But almost everything else is a huge positive. Lots of voice acting, furigana over all kanji. Press A to advance dialogue at your own pace. Mostly day-to-day vocabulary in context. And overall, it's just a really chilled out game. So if you want that Japanese summertime experience, and to practice some Japanese at your own pace, I think it's a great choice. If, however, you don't have a Switch, or think the price is a bit steep, which it is, I recommend searching YouTube for a Jikyo Play of the game, which is Japanese for a Let's Play video, which would provide even more listening practice. But of course, you're not the one playing. Anyway, let me know what you think of Shinchans Summer Vacation. Have you played it? Are you interested in it? Or had you never heard of it before now? Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your language learning friends. Thanks for watching. I've been Joe from Zento. Bye.